My name's Nick Bradley, and I am from Hazlet, Texas. I served 8 years active duty. I served 2 tours in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. I was based out of Eglin Air Force Base in Florida, Destin, Florida area. It's a beautiful place to live. I lived there for 10 years, and then I just recently moved here in January. I did 2 tours in Iraq, and then I did a 3rd one in Afghanistan. We were in the capital city of Afghanistan, Kabul. I was doing PSD Bravo. It's a protective services detail, okay, where we were guarding general officers. Been in 5.5 months in country, and we were going on a mission one Sunday afternoon. They called me up. They needed me to drive a truck. We were taking another guy out to a firing range, and we turned on a dirt road. As we're driving out there, there's 2 guys, 2 Taliban members in this little village right next to this dirt road. And as we were driving down the dirt road, they had a pile of rocks as an aiming point. And when we drove past that pile of rocks, they hit a button, detonated a 20-pound anti-tank mine, and it detonated right under the gear shift of my truck. And it crushed every bone in my face, every bone in my right arm, lost a couple fingers, fractured my hip, crushed my knee, got a hole in my shin, and it crushed my right foot. After that, I was transported. I had a surgery in Afghanistan. I had a surgery in Germany, just through en route home. Got to Walter Reed. They put me in a coma for 9 days. I had 11 surgeries throughout that time, and then I've had 2 more surgeries since. I was injured August 3rd of '08, so the 4-year mark just passed. I think it's 2 things really that have just driven me through my whole recovery. One's my little girl. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and it's just inspired me to do so much and to keep moving forward. And the second, I think, would be the game of golf. I remember being at Walter Reed, and they had a little putting green in the physical therapy room, and I wasn't allowed to get out of my wheelchair at the time, but which I would. I would drive my wheelchair over to the putting green, and I would stand up, and I would just sit there and putt for the entire length of my physical therapy. And eventually it just became something that it challenged me. It challenged me to do better. It challenged me to improve. And I like a challenge. And it just drove me to keep doing better. And the doctor told me I'd be in the hospital for a year. And after 2 months of being in the hospital, I walked out of the hospital. And within 3 months, I was on the golf course. I'm not going to tell you the outcome of what I did on the golf course, but I was back out there, and that's all that mattered. There's no other tournament like it. This is the tournament of the year for wounded vets, in my opinion. I've stayed really close with a lot of guys that played in the tournament last year, and every time I've ever talked to any of them throughout this past year, this is what we talk about. We always talk about the Warrior Open. It's very motivational. It's inspiring to wounded vets to get out there and work hard for something. It puts that drive. It gives us that drive to get back out there and do something great.